5 tiny changes that can make you more productive. Wish you were more productive? Want to stop procrastinating and putting off the things you really need and want to be doing? Join the queue. The good news, though, is that by making very small changes to your routine and workflow, you can actually have a profound impact on your overall productivity. Listen up and let's go through 5 tiny changes that will do just that. 1. Start tomorrow's work. Before you clock off for the day, make a start on tomorrow's work. Starting a new job first thing in the morning is extremely hard. If you've already made a start, on the other hand, it's much easier to dive back into the flow. 2. Make tea and coffee your reward. Many of us waste a surprisingly amount of time on trips to the kitchen. Instead of doing that, make a new rule that you can only enjoy a hot drink once you've answered all your emails, written X amount of words, or completed another goal of your choosing. You'll spend far less time hanging around waiting for the hot water to boil, and you'll be motivated to work faster. 3. Start on the task you most want to do. The hardest part of work is starting to be productive. If your first job is something you hate doing, you'll find yourself putting it off and not being productive. Swap that for something you do want to do, and at least you'll find it easier to get stuck in. 4. Listen to the same tune. Find a piece of music you know extremely well, such as an album, and then play it on repeat while listening to noise-canceling headphones. This is a trick used by Matt Mullenweg of WordPress fame. You'll find that your brain tunes out the music because it knows it so well, effectively creating a form of sensory deprivation. 5. Just start. If it's a blank page that greets you at work and you need to type, code, or enter data, then you might suffer from some form of writer's block. The key to getting over this is to just start writing. You can also go back and perfect it later. But the most important thing is to start doing something. Making these tiny changes to your routine and workflow will collectively make you much more productive. That's what they call Kaizen in Japan. 5 tiny changes that will make you happier. Is happiness something you are either blessed with or not? Or is it something you can work toward like abs? The good news is that in most cases, happiness falls into the latter category. By changing the world around you and your reactions to it, you can become much more content and happy on a daily basis. The key is to start with small changes that are easy to implement. This is what we call Kaizen. 1. Write down 3 things. Start and end your day by writing down 3 things that you are grateful for. This helps to cultivate a gratitude attitude and helps draw our attention to what is good in our life rather than what we are dissatisfied with. 2. Find one way to treat yourself. Even for 10 minutes, find a way to treat yourself. That might mean reading a bit of your book, or it might mean eating something you're excited for. Ideally, pick something that won't cost you anything. Instead of buying a book then, you might find one you already have but haven't read. This has the added bonus of reminding us we already have a lot of things we want and need. 3. Compliment a friend or relative. We often feel better when we do things for other people, and this can be profoundly impactful to our mood for hours to come. While you probably don't have the time or budget to dedicate your life to charity, what you can do is to send a friend a message letting them know you're thinking of them, or to drop a compliment into a conversation with someone. Watch their reaction, it's highly rewarding. 4. Place a picture of your family by the bed and put the TV on in the morning. Reportedly, humans evolved living in small tribes, and that is the setup that makes us psychologically happiest. Most of us are very isolated today, which actually leads to feelings of loneliness and sadness. 5. Smile. Smiling more is something that can make you happier through a psychological process called facial feedback. In short, our mood changes to match our expression. Smile more, and you'll also make those around you happier. This in turn means they'll react to you better, which means you'll have more positive interactions. Next time you're at a cashier, try giving a big warm smile to the attendant. It's small and free, but it makes a big difference for them and you. Do this for just 1 minute a day and your life will change. 1 minute can change your life. Don't believe me? Then you probably haven't heard of Kaizen. This is the very trendy concept of applying minute changes to a workflow or even your life in order to enact a massive, cumulative change. Normally, that means looking at parts of your routine that you can improve, ways to save tiny bits of cash, or ways you can save a little time at work. The result here being that after several months of this, you end up much richer with much more time. But 1 minute? Can even the cumulative effects of 1 minute of effort really do anything for you? In this presentation, you'll see that it can. Here are 4 1-minute habits that can totally transform your life. 1. Make your bed. This small thing starts your day on a positive and productive note and gives you a clean room to come home to. It's ideal for training yourself to adapt good habits. 2. Talk to a stranger. Who knows what you could learn from a random person in 1 minute if you strike up a conversation? Moreover, practicing talking to strangers will make you more social, charismatic, and persuasive. And that's a game changer. 3. Run. Yes, running for 1 minute actually has been shown to have major health benefits. You're not going to lose a ton of weight, but it will strengthen your bones through minor impacts, which in turn can prevent age-related decline. 4. Write down 3 things you're grateful for. Many of us have so much to appreciate in life, from our physical possessions to our loved ones to our health. Yet we spend so long just longing for the things we don't have. So write down 3 things you're grateful for every day. This will redirect your attention to those things, such that you feel happier and more content all day long. 5. Breath training. Get yourself a breathing trainer and breathe into it for 1 minute a day. This will strengthen the intercostal muscles that you use to control your lungs and will essentially make you more efficient at breathing. The result? You'll have stronger lungs for cardio, more oxygen will reach your brain, and you'll sleep better. Those are huge benefits for just 1 minute of barely noticeable exercise. So then, it turns out that 1 minute really can change your life. Imagine what you could do with 5. How to apply Kaizen in your relationships. If you have any interest in productivity, project management, or self-improvement, then chances are you will have heard of Kaizen. Kaizen is the Japanese concept of gradual improvement. It means taking lots of very small steps toward a goal that will have a cumulative snowball effect over time. Eventually, those tiny differences add up to something extremely meaningful. But while Kaizen is popular in the business and self-development world, it also has applications outside of those areas. For example, you might just be able to use Kaizen in your relationships to become happier and more satisfied than ever before. Kaizen for couples. Relationships are hard. As much as Hollywood might try to tell us otherwise, relationships do not work out immediately. Rather, we need to work at them and constantly improve them with time. Likewise, we need to stick with them when things are not going perfectly and fight through those bad patches. This is not a mark of a bad relationship. In fact, it is a very healthy relationship that is able to acknowledge its shortcomings and work on them. That's where Kaizen comes in. Take an honest appraisal of your relationship with your partner in a judgment-free way. Ask what is going well and what could be better. Perhaps you don't get enough time together. Maybe you feel you aren't having enough sex. Or maybe you feel that one of you does more chores than the other. Maybe you aren't doing enough new, interesting things together. You'll then apply Kaizen by looking at each of these points and the circumstances surrounding them. You'll ask, how can you act to make that thing better? What small change can you make to your routine that will inject some more novelty or give you a bit more time together? For example, you might make the rule that 1 night a week you don't watch any television. Or perhaps you agree that you will cook together instead of taking it in turns. If the romance has gone, then you might both make a pact to spend a little longer looking your best for each other in the morning. These are very small changes, but over time, they can add up to make an immense difference. And the rewards you can reap here are gigantic. There's benefits to applying a little Kaizen to any area of your life. How to break a bad habit in 3 easy steps. Building a better you is not just about introducing new positive habits. Just as important is to remove the bad habits that are wasting your time, damaging your health, or losing you money. The only problem is that habits are hard to break. That's why they're habits. The good news is that there are ways you can break bad habits if you know how. In this presentation, we'll look at 3 simple steps that can help you bust those bad habits for good. 1. Change your environment. One of the most important things to do if you want to break a bad habit is to change your environment. That means you should remove yourself from your usual location. The reason is that your environment will be filled with reminders and triggers that will make you more likely to engage in the negative behavior. That is why many people trying to recover from addiction will go into rehab. There, nothing will remind them of their old life and behavior. Of course, you can come back again when you're done. Trying to quit smoking? Wait until you're going on holiday and you will have the best luck. 2. Find new habits. One of the very most important things to do if you want to break a bad habit is to replace it with something new. Otherwise, you will still be continuously reaching for that cigarette or looking for that cake. You need a new way to get your dopamine hit. Of course, it's entirely up to you what your new habit should be, but make sure it gives you a similar feeling and that it's something you really want to do, such that the urge is able to win over the habit with a little help from you. 3. Take it day by day. Kaizen is the Japanese concept of gradual improvement. This idea applies nicely to kicking habits, because it tells us that instead of trying to go cold turkey on day 1, we should instead gradually seek to improve our condition. For instance then, instead of quitting smoking entirely, you might just smoke 1 less cigarette daily. Likewise, instead of trying to end procrastination altogether, you might set a timer and try and keep it to no more than 10 minutes. This helps you introduce an easier version of the habit you eventually tend to form, which allows you to lay down and strengthen the neural pathways you are going to need.